As the Te Deum's over, the great service is coming to an end, and the procession is winding its way towards the west door. See the Queen. Fanfare. Returning from St. Edward's Shrine, where His Majesty the King still waits to join in this return of the great proceeding. Now, the Queen, having been greeted with these fanfares, waits to move on past the theatre. There's a swirl of colour round the theatre where the high officers of state are grouping them into procession, and as it happens, I can just see into St. Edward's Chapel below, and the King's train-bearers are grouping themselves round the door of the disrobing room. And there, still waiting to move forward, is the Queen in her right hand, her sceptre with the cross, in her left, the ivory rod, the dove, wearing her lovely crown, diamonds glittering, and beneath her purple robe, her ivory satin dress with its gold embroidery, shining as now she begins to move forward, and her train of velvet 6 yards long, with its empire emblems heavily embroidered with gold, and her 6 train-bearers in white satin dresses embroidered with pearls, moving slowly there, a very lovely sight. In the corner of the presbytery, with the light streaming down, that strong light throwing a pool on that square where so much ceremonial has gone this morning, and additional lights flashing on in the nave. And now the Archbishop of Canterbury moves forward, and the procession flowing below us through these high banks of colour of the congregation, looking like a river of flowing jewels as it goes down towards the brightly lit square of the west door, which I see at the end of the cathedral here. I see it over the heads of the choir, brilliantly coloured, sitting, playing on top of the organ screen, and slowly, with dignity, the Queen's procession moves forward, moves towards the choir now, round the theatre, past the throne where the Queen so lately sat, and behind follows the Duchess Dowager of Northumberland with her long crimson train, and then Richmond Herald and Somerset Herald and Lancaster Heralds, passing now the little crimson satin fall stool, and it's extraordinarily beautiful, this small procession which precedes the King's. It's an exquisite part of this interweaving pattern of colour and majesty. And now the Queen reaches the nave. I see Princess Juliana in the choir stalls, leading forward, watching intently, remembering no doubt the great ceremonial in which she herself recently took part, and beyond her, smiling, her husband, Prince Bernard of the Netherlands. And I can't help watching Princess Margaret Rose in the Royal Gallery. All this ceremonial she's been watching intently. She's been asking Princess Elizabeth questions. She's been as lively as Quicksilver, and her nose now is on the edge of the Royal Gallery. She's wearing a lovely little golden coronet. She's been eager and happy throughout this morning. And as the Queen moves towards the golden archway of the organ screen, the King's regalia moves forward. I see now the head of St. Edward's staff, now the staff itself, long, slender, and shining. And here below me, His Majesty the King emerges from St. Edward's Chapel, and we see him for the first time in his magnificent royal robe of purple velvet, wearing a superb imperial crown. And crowns, they say, are derived from the rays of glory which played round the head of Moses when he descended from the mount, and the light which streams down on the golden carpet of the presbytery catches the jewels of the crown as the king moves forward. A ring of gold glinting on his hand, a ruby engraved with St. George's cross, and there, in front of his crown, there's the great blood-red ruby of the Black Prince, the diamonds and sapphires shining. It's a great, stirring moment, this. And behind the king stand, waiting still to move forward, away from their position in front of the high altar, stand behind him the 9 pages carrying his train in their tulics of scarlet, and after them the officers of the household, and more scarlet from the yeomen of the guard. And the king slowly, with measured tread, moves forward, walking firmly, passing towards the theatre, and in the royal gallery, Queen Mary turns towards him and watches him, and I think I see her smile. And only a few feet from their father, the little princesses look on intently. He's passing them now, seeing, as I do, no doubt, as well as a father, the shimmering of light on the head of the king's royal scepter, the scepter with the cross, with the great Star of Africa diamond glinting there, and the